Trying to get together on what to do about those tax cuts, Chris.
All right, Mike Vaquera, as always, it's great to see you there.
Okay.
And we'll talk more about this issue with our company. But now Miami police are involved in a chase right now. There you see it live on your screen. Let's go to Richard Louie, who's been following this for us.
Hey, Chris, yeah, we're just getting this video that you're seeing live on the screen at the moment. It looks like some gray SUV, could be a Ford, not sure at the moment. What we have seen, at least in the last 10 minutes, from what we understand, is that car, that gray SUV, actually got stopped at one point. You can see about 6 police cars in white following at the moment, but it was stopped at one moment, and police got out of their vehicles and had a gun pulled on that gray car. But then somehow that gray SUV escaped, and now you see what is happening now. WSVN with their chopper cam in Miami. 11 o'clock in the morning, it can get kind of busy, but they're running through the streets at the moment. We'll keep on top of it for you right here.
All right. Thanks very much, Richard. We will let you know as we find out what might happen there. But let's bring in our company, Karen Finney and Mark Tapscott. I thought that was an interesting way when we heard it from Vic. Is cooperation delayed, cooperation denied? Karen, what do you have? A lot more to talk about. But now let's get back to Richard Louie, more on that police chase in Miami. What's going on there, Richard?
Yeah, Chris, it's still going on at the moment. We have more information as we take a look at some of the live video that's coming into us from a chopper cam at WSVN. We understand now it is indeed a Ford vehicle. A blue Ford Expedition is what WSVN is reporting. A strong armed robbery is what WSVN is telling us. This happening in an area in what is Miami Beach. That area right across here from Gladeview, Brownsville. We've got Miami Beach over here, Miami Shores. This is the space we're in right now that we can tell as they're on the freeway, whether they're going to put out those tax strips to try to stop that vehicle from moving. We might see some of those contacts where the police will come into contact with the rear part of the bumper. But it being an SUV, it may not have the right impetus or the right force that these police vehicles can use when they're trying to get them to turn out, spin out. At the moment, you can see just one white car from the police following that SUV, that blue Ford Expedition. At one time in some of the pictures, we saw 7 or 8 vehicles. Now, I want to take you back. Continue to watch this, though, to describe to you what happened within the last 30 minutes. We saw the vehicle is being pursued right now stopped, stuck between some cars. What had happened is it couldn't get out for a moment, so police then got out of their vehicles, pulled out a gun, aiming it at that vehicle, but then somehow the Ford Expedition was able to squeeze itself out, and now we see that it has moved through the streets of Miami, now back on the freeway. We are going to watch this. We'll see if there's any progress as we continue to watch these live pictures. Chris, back to you.
Yeah, I always wonder, they never get away. I'm never sure why they,
And how will it end?
Yeah, but the question is, how will it end? So we're going to keep this up in double boxes while we move on to some other news, and we can sort of follow this chase that's going on in Miami. But listen to this. They've already figured out that they're expecting more than 1 billion people around the world to tune in to Prince William and Kate Middleton's much anticipated royal nuptials. Retail analysts predict the wedding could give almost $1 billion boost, a $984 million boost to Britain's economy, and frankly, they could use it. So is the bride feeling any pressure about becoming a member of the world's most famous family, arguably? Joins me now from outside Buckingham Palace. And Neil, I got to tell you, I'd never heard Kate Middleton speak before. I've read a few books about her. I've, seen plenty of pictures of her. Tell me a little bit about her and how you think she'll handle the spotlight.
I'm glad that you said that, Chris, because it was a bit of a shock to us. Of course, I've met her, so I obviously knew she could speak, but I think a lot of people thought she might have been a bit of a wind-up doll. Yesterday was a big day for her, and I think she came out of it incredibly well. If you watch the film back, you can actually see that Prince William relaxes next to her and actually allows her the stage, allows her to speak. So I don't think she's the shy, retiring creature that you actually may think. There's a lot more feistiness there, and I think we're going to see a little bit more of that as the months progress.
I like the fact that they were able to keep it secret. Come on, in this day and age, they actually got engaged last month, and we didn't find out about it until yesterday. They're trying to keep a lot of secrets, of course. Everybody wants to know. We know the ring was Diana's, beautiful, by the way, but, who's going to make the dress? Where's the wedding going to be? Who's going to be invited? What's sort of the early gossip that's out there?
Oh, we're so excited over here. And I mean, I think the world's excited because, of course, what we really want to know, like you say, are who are going to be the guests, make the cake, the dress. I think the sort of pressure on Kate to get, or Catherine as we now call her, to get the dress right must be phenomenal. Already we can tell you behind me, designers are putting forward their plans so that people can see them and see what she may wear and what she won't wear. What we can tell you first, that I found out this afternoon, is something that it's going to be more of an organic wedding, whatever that may mean, but we think sort of greeny, something in keeping with, of course, the way that we're living now, quite austere times. So I'm not expecting Kate to be splashing the cash and possibly having that fairy tale princess look that we all want her to have, though.
Yeah, that girl could probably put on, frankly, a flour sack and she'd look good. She's beautiful. We really have a royal family, so it's kind of ours, and I felt bad for her when they called her Weighty Katie. So anyway, Neil Sean, thank you. Let's go back. Oh, look at what's going on. Let's go back to Richard Louis. The car just crashed in the Miami Chase.
That's right, Chris. We've been watching this, and we said, it's how it's going to end. So this is what has happened just within the last 3 or 4 minutes during your discussion there. As we can see, the blue Ford Expedition now obviously stopped. This involved in a strong armed robbery. It looks like this is on an off-ramp. We saw them just moments ago as they pull out the police dogs. Moments ago as they were on what looked to be a freeway in the Miami area, and a tanker just to the lower left-hand corner. Could have been a very difficult situation had that crash been with that tanker. But again, we're seeing that there's a bit of a standoff. Again, according to WSVN, this is involved in a strong armed robbery. So therefore, they could be very concerned at this moment with what that passenger will do. Now, here's a shot of what happened just moments ago, as you saw there on the screen there. And now the aftermath, the live pictures from WSVN and the chopper can on the lower left-hand side. So we will see, as we see his hands going out the window at the moment, evidently saying that he is giving up. Okay, so we're watching this situation here live in Miami as the police at the moment we'll see if they approach the vehicle, Chris, and the police dog moving closely as well.
These police officers, they train for exactly these kinds of situations. There was a whole string several years back when these car chases ended badly, and there was a renewed emphasis on training officers for just this kind of situation. So you can bet that they know just what they're doing there. Yeah, there's the concern, of course, of this speed and perhaps the recklessness that might evolve from the car in pursuit. And the safety of those around. And it looks, at least from what we've seen in these pictures, Chris, in the last 15 minutes, that it was fairly safe. Only seeing this finishing product, which is, again, the driver of that car in pursuit, now getting out and climbing out the window. Yeah. And they're telling him to get down. They always tell him to get down. They want to see, make sure where his hands are, make sure he doesn't have a weapon or have access to a weapon. They will approach him very, very carefully. There you see, now they've got him. And as they move on, and it looks like that they're moving on the right side, breaking in the window. Not sure if there is or what is on the right side of this blue Ford Expedition. As it started, according to WSVN, earlier today, and going through some of the streets. It happened earlier in a part that is across from Miami Shores, there in Brownsville in Miami, going through the streets, then got on what looked to be a major thoroughfare. And count the vehicles there. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. It goes on and on. A line of some 30 police vehicles that were involved in this pursuit in Miami. 11:17 a.m., getting close to lunch in that area, but just swarming this blue Ford Expedition. It looks like they only have one suspect, at least from what we can see in the white shirt there, as he is limping a bit after what was a head-on collision with something. Let's show it to you again in terms of what happened earlier. It looked to be in sort of an off-ramp situation, getting in contact with that, right there, that tanker, and not winning in that situation, stopping cold the blue Ford Expedition as he is now moved into one of the police vehicles, 28108. Not needing to use some of those procedures that you were alluding to there, Chris, which we have seen many times on air during these pursuits, which is the tapping of the rear bumper of the vehicle that is being pursued, causing it to spin out. That didn't seem to be one of the procedures that they were attempting, at least from what we saw. We also did not see necessarily the application of those
tacks that they'll put out in strips to try to blow off the tires. Again, we saw seeing the end there in that collision with that tanker. So, Chris, it has come to an end in about 30 minutes.
Yeah, and always breathe a sigh of relief that apparently nobody's seriously hurt, although obviously the guy who was on the run got shaken up a bit. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate you following that for us. We're back here in Washington.